Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Berube here for another Facebook Live on this wonderful Tuesday. As Sandy says, in beautiful Arizona and Nevada, the weather is quite exceptional. It's really kicked up in the last week or so. But today we have a special treat because we have Sandy Gaare from the North Scottsdale office. And Sandy has only been in the business a short period of time. So welcome, Sandy, to the show.
Thank you.
And there it
Thanks,
is.
Rick, for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And there it is. The studio audience goes crazy. So tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been in the business, maybe a little bit about what you did before, all that good stuff.
Okay, great. All right, so thanks again. And I don't know if it'll be a treat having me. We'll see at the end. But I've been an agent since October of 2020, so pretty new. I'd say about like the last 6 months now. So prior to that, I worked in the corporate world. I was an executive in the entertainment business for 35 years. And I have a true passion for sales, employee development, working with people, and a personal passion really for real estate. So during the COVID crisis, I got furloughed and started looking for something else that I wanted to do. And since real estate was my passion, I took those classes and got my license and started with the North Scottsdale office, which is really small, in October. So, I've moved like 13 times in my adult life and had 4 major remodels of homes. So I'm kind of well versed in real estate from a personal basis. And so I
Right.
really wanted to get into this business to try to help people and help clients purchase their dream homes.
Awesome. So when you say entertainment, just for you, what were you doing? Like what part of the entertainment business before you got into real estate?
Aha, yeah. So I worked for Ticketmaster and Live Nation.
Ah,
Yeah. And I was
awesome.
in sales. I handled North American sales for that company.
Wow, that's huge. That's a big company. Yeah.
It was
I
a
have
big
an
company.
account. Living in Vegas, I have an account with Ticketmaster.
Well, I won't ask you about your experience. We'll get into that another time.
Oh, it's fine because it's all done by the computer. Yeah, it's pretty
It
simple.
is, but as you know, that was like the biggest business that got, as much as real estate became such a boom from COVID, um, entertainment just dropped. I mean, nobody's going to events, artists don't want to tour, so the whole business just kind of crashed.
Yeah, definitely true. And I had people even in my neighborhood, a couple that worked for Cirque du Soleil had to sell their house a
Mhm.
while back. So Vegas has a lot of that. But look at this. But think about this now. So and I knew that before. I just wanted them to hear that because you're in my coaching.
That's
So
right, exactly.
yeah, Ticketmaster. That must have been a very interesting, very busy job. But but it forced you into real estate, and let's face it, since October, you've done a few deals, haven't you? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've done quite a few deals, and when I first got into this business, I thought to myself, "Wow, like how am I going to do this? How will I succeed? I'm never going to be good at this." And it was something that was totally out of my comfort zone. So decided to get into it and hit the ground running. Thanks to a lot of people, including Rick, on this call. So so far, I've had 7 closings in 6 months, 7.5 million in sales. I've had 4 listings, one that I've shared with another agent who was mentoring me at the beginning, and then 3 listings of my very own for my sphere of influence. Um, let's see, I currently picked up a new listing that goes live on Friday. So, yay! Good for me.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
working with another agent on that. And then I have 2 purchase contracts pending right now. I have 4 active buyers, 2 additional buyers. So it's taken off for me. I feel really lucky to be immersed into real estate during this crazy time and to have the clients that I have. So 70% of my clients are from my sphere of influence.
Awesome. So now, would you say you left your job a little kicking and screaming, getting into the business, and then now
Oh,
you're like, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me, baby?
exactly. I was so depressed when I left my job of 35 years, by the way, and thought, wow, like how can I possibly even do anything different? And so decided to go towards something that I had the passion for. Didn't really think that I could be successful, but I thought I'd give it a shot. And the one thing I've really had to learn to do is take myself out of my comfort zone and,
Yeah.
immerse myself into this entire business.
Well, I can say by coaching, and I know that your managers, Shirley Small and Cassie, your sales manager there, I know they've been a tremendous help because they're a dynamic duo, I would say. Wouldn't you? Yeah.
They are amazing, and they're available to me at every hour. As I don't know if they're listening, but they probably get sick of my phone calls that I give them, like every day and
Ever.
night with questions. Yep. But
When you're
they're a
called,
big part of my success.
yeah, like somebody on my coaching this morning says, "Am I being a pain yet?" And I always say, when you're asking, see, I can tell by doing this. I've been in real estate for 36 years. I've been coaching for 25 of them now. I can tell when someone's asking questions to get better versus asking questions to disqualify. And there are some people that do that. Their job is to prove they can't do it, and you're in the way by trying to help them. Okay, but
Right.
you jumped into this. Like I remember when it was the one trip I got to do since March of last year, which was to come to your office and speak at that event in the morning that Shirley put together, Shirley and Cassie, which they do a tremendous job. That's where I met you. That's where I
That's
met a
right.
few other people that are in my coaching now. And I know that AJ is the mentor that you've been talking about, and he's also so you've walked into a dynamic situation, but none of that would have worked, Sandy, without you being humble about it, being open. You listened, you actually did it, and now you've already had 7 closings, several pendings in there, and a complete pipeline. And the other great thing is listening to how organized you are. You know exactly what you got going on. I'm talking about compared to a lot of agents in the business. You know what your pipeline is. You know who's doing what. Like yesterday, we were
Correct.
even discussing. You should tell them about that. You had an offer on a property that was over 1.5, and the one that actually went was even like 17% over asking. That's
Oh, I
crazy.
know. I recently had, I mean, this just happened the last couple of days, and I had a customer, a client that came in from another state and took her around to see some properties. We found one that she absolutely like loved, and the open house was packed. There was just tons of people coming in, so we knew we had to offer more. It was 1.5 million. We came in with an offer of 1.6 million, all cash, dropping all contingencies, thinking, wow, we had like the best offer in the world. We're going to get this. And guess what? We lost it and found out later on that there were 3 offers over 1.7 million that were cash offers. And I guess the winning bid was 1.75.
That's 17. I figured that out right away. I'm like, that's 70. Think about that now. That neighborhood just went up 17% basically in
Yeah.
value. One closing. That is, look at, I've been in the business 36 years. When it's a first, I tell you, that's a first. And paying cash. See, some people are trying to compare this market to 2006 and 7. Not even close. It's so different in so many ways. But let's get back to you here now. So that the fact that you're having these conversations, these productive conversations, and asking for help. So when you got in the business now, because you obviously listened and took direction. Okay, is that something you normally do, or were you that frightened by the business?
Um, no, it's something that I am come from the corporate world, so I'm used to having a plan, having goals, having direction. But what I wasn't used to in this business was that I had to do this all on my own. And so therefore, when you're telling me that I'm organized and all this stuff, I actually want to throw this back on you and Shirley and Cassie and I think even my mentor as well, AJ, and that you guys were the ones that forced that upon me, and I needed some direction and some guidance. And Rick, when I first came to your first coaching session, and you were like all about like how many, what's your prospects, what's your goal, how many calls are you going to make, what are you getting appointments, blah blah blah, and I sat there thinking, this is crazy. Like, what is this guy talking about? And
I get that a
and
lot.
then I know, and I sat there thinking, whoa, like it was a little bit confused. I thought, all right, you know what? I'm going with this. And then I found that the structure and the guidance and the fact that I had to report back into you every 2 weeks and check in, it's gotten me in a process and a structure that I have to say it was very well needed. If I didn't have that, it would be hard to be successful in this business without having that kind of structure and organization and being very laser focused on my goals. And when you're in the corporate world, you have a lot of bosses and people around you that keep you to your goals, and you keep others to your goals. In this world, you're kind of on your own. And so it's really great to have help from others and to seek out help and listen and learn and take yourself out of your comfort zone and just do things that you think, wow, I don't think this is right, but you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going for it.
That's great. And that's the attitude I'm talking about. That's why you've gone from being brand new to being one of the, you're one of the good, great producers in your office already 6 months in. And that's an incredible office, that North Scottsdale office. So congratulations there. Yeah. And I can see the humility in your face. It's good. It's okay. You're doing great and you continue. And I think the fact that you, like, look, watch, you talked about one of my favorite lines here is, and I tell people, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself with this company, because you're an independent contractor. You're a walking, talking business, okay, which just makes it exciting. At the same time, if you use experience like mine and Shirley's and AJ and Cassie's, which a lot of people won't do. I don't know what it is about the real estate business, but they're all like, I got this. But like you just said, if you're organized, if you keep track of what you're doing, if you keep a pipeline, plus, I know I'm a company guy, but I'm going to say this, the VAC 2.0 and all the tools that you guys have in there to stay in touch with people now is incredible. I wish I had that when I started, but I didn't. I had a 1 through 31 accordion file, and I thought that was the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow, I remember those actually. Yeah.
You do, right? Yeah,
I do.
I tell people all the time, like in your market too, a couple years ago, Open Door, OfferPad, oh, the disruptors. I remember my first disruptor in real estate, people laugh when I say this, was the internet. When I started, there was no internet, and then it came in and people were like, I hope you like your job, because in 5 years with the internet, you won't be necessary. And 36 years later, we're still necessary because it's a personal touch business. And that's what you're talking about. You give tremendous service to your clients. Just the examples that you give are good. So tell us a little about how you got into having 7 closings, 4 pendings, you're taking listings, all in 6 months. What do you do to have that happen, Sandy?
All right. Some of the big thing I focused on is my sphere of influence, which has been something that you've been preaching quite a bit. And I have to say, like, a few of the people of my transactions, they were from my sphere of people who never thought that they were going to, to sell their home or buy a home. They had no idea. They had no immediate plans for that. And so it was just from my constant talking to them, keeping in touch with them, not nagging them about trying to get their sales, but really just understanding about what they're doing in life and where they want to go and where they want to be at and what the future is. So it just was at the beginning, it was just constantly keeping in touch with everyone, letting them know what I was doing and seeing what I could do to help. And so that's primarily what that came from. Then the real key, as Rick has told me quite often, is about getting listings. When you finally do land those listings, then you have the opportunity to have your own open houses and then to gain more clients from those open houses. And so additional clients I picked up from the open houses from my listings. That's when you get to meet people, talk to people. Open houses are like the coolest thing in the world. They're so much fun. They require a lot of energy, but they're super exciting and you get to meet a lot of people. And in this world today, the last one I had the first day, 132 people come in the course of like 3 hours. It was crazy.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. So these conversations that you had, do you have like a daily goal, or what exactly do you have between your sphere and the other sources we're talking about?
So I have a goal, and this is that, again, not to credit myself, but to credit more the resources we have, and to you, Rick, is I have the goal of like my prospecting goals is how many people I'm going to talk to over the course of 2 weeks. And at first I just, was kind of like came up with this number on the fly because I thought, wow, what are you talking about? But I actually then started calculating it and the number of people I talked to on a daily basis and looking at that and trying to keep up with that. Open houses definitely help you achieve your goal because look at, when I was able to talk to 100 people passing through a house plus in a given day, it really helped me to raise those numbers up.
Excellent. Yeah. And what is your contact goal? Like, how many people do you want to talk to per day, 5 days a week, in order to achieve your goal?
Well, I try to talk to 10 people a day
Okay.
for 5. Yeah, so that's like kind of what my goal is, so that
Yeah.
it could be 100 people in 2 weeks. Now, if I have an open house, I do up that goal quite a bit,
Good.
because I could do that in one day, in a few
Yeah,
hours.
I wanted them to hear the consistency. You have a goal to talk to 10, 5 days a week. That's 50 a week. So when you go back to your organization and goals and setting, that's what I'm talking about. The reason I believe that you've been as successful as you have been out of the gate is because you're being systematic, taking advice, and then actually following it, which in this business isn't so common. Common sense,
No,
not today.
it does help to follow the advice, to listen, to learn, to do things. Again, when I said earlier, taking yourself out of your comfort zone. I can't stress that enough, because I have to do that each and every day. And every day is different too, which is so cool about this environment and this world. And so there's constant learnings on a daily basis. But you have to go back to your goals, and you have to go back to what you're trying to achieve on a daily basis. Otherwise, you really, I agree with you, Rick, you can't really be a success unless you do that.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Okay. So, anything else that you want to share with them about your first 6 months that you found interesting about the business?
I find that every day is really different, as I said before. And I find, though, that having listings is super cool and awesome to meet people, get the open houses, obtain additional clients. But then being on the other side of representing buyers is extremely frustrating right now. Buyers, I'm finding, are depressed, burned out, have a lot of anxiety, because buying homes is such an emotional process. There's a lot of emotions around it. And so having the situation now where you have to be in bidding wars and then offering over asking price and not even being able to get that is extremely frustrating for the buyers. So I'm trying really hard not to play into the emotions and the frustrations of these buyers right now, and to really act as like the consultant and the source of information. And then that goes back to, being, I know we hear this, you guys have probably all heard this in your training, being the source of the source. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize what that meant until now. It's so critical that you have to be a wealth of information at all times. And so that your client becomes, relies on you, listens, tries to learn, and that you keep them calm and non emotional about this crazy state of real estate right now.
Yeah, being super educated, like they're not going to hire you, Sandy, right? If they hire you because they believe that you are more knowledgeable about the situation than they are, that's why they hire you. And if they don't get that
Yeah.
feeling, right? So it's very important. And that's another great compliment to you is that you took that by the horns and you just figured out what you needed to learn in order to be like you said, the source of the source, which is a really good statement. Love it. Okay, so you've been doing this for about 6 months now, crafty veteran. I love
Yeah.
it. I'm right, and your average sale price is over 1 million just by the numbers you gave, right? So you have 7 closings for whatever it was, X amount of millions,
Yeah, 7.5 million in sales from my 7 closings right now.
right? So that puts you at about like right about $1 million, which is absolutely fabulous in that North Scottsdale area, which is growing and growing every single day. But okay,
Exactly.
so coming out of the gate as fast as you have, what would be the three? And I know you've already mentioned probably some of them, but what would be the
I
three
did.
most important pieces of advice you would tell them to focus on?
And I actually wrote this down because when I was thinking about like some advice, I probably wrote like 25 things down on a piece of paper. And I thought, okay, I've got to try to narrow this down. So I came up with what I felt were like the three most important things to focus on. So number one, and I already said this, is be the source of the source. I can't stress that enough about how important it is to be a wealth of information to your clients. It's critical to your reputation and to your success. And what's really nice is you have the tools to do that. You have the tools, you have the coaching, you have You have sorry about that. You have the tools, you have the coaching, you have training classes, you have articles that are shared from your brokers. There's all kinds of information. You just have to be structure yourself. Again, I learned this from Rick. Structure your day around spending that time to read some different information, to spend time to increase your knowledge about the market. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. And so other ways that take every other ways you can do this about being the source of the source is taking every training class that you can right at the beginning. So there's all kinds of training classes available to you. Take as many as you can. You have time to do them at the very beginning. Once you start getting clients, you lose that time. So do as much as you can. Take all of Rick's classes as well. Not only are they educational, Rick is truly hilarious, as you guys probably know and have heard. So he keeps you amused and also gets you thinking about the goals and the accountability, which is critical to success. And I didn't really think about that early on. I thought that came naturally to me about goals and accountability, and I was wrong. So I have to think about goals and accountability and how to track those. That's really important. If you could partner with other agents, that's so helpful. I was lucky to be able to partner with AJ and get all of his knowledge and mentoring, and that really helped. Get to know other agents, get to know your resources from different vendors that we use as well. And my phone
He's
keeps
busy,
ringing.
folks. They just keep calling.
Even though I have it off, yeah. And attend every open house that you can. Observe people, observe agents. So attending the open houses are really important. Ask questions, utilize your brokers. So that's how you become the source of the source. And then the second thing is to really focus on your sphere of influence. I mean, that is your key. Even I said 70% of my business right now is coming from that sphere. Even if it seems like you have nothing there, there is something there, believe me. So a lot of, like I said, the transactions that I had, the people I talked to had no intention of selling or buying, and all of a sudden I get them as listings. So keep focused on your sphere of influence and keep on that and set goals around that. And then the third thing is what we talked about as well, is setting goals around daily and weekly prospecting, appointments, contracts, social media, which I'm still weak on, but I'm working on that. I'm getting up there. Luna's helping me with that. And prospecting. And again, be accountable. Be accountable for your goals and track them. And then, the last thing that I said, I'll repeat again, get out of your comfort zone. Like right now, today, this minute.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. See, and I don't know if it's your corporate background that's probably part of it. It's probably part of it is that you seem like you're open to coaching and business coaching, and also it seems like you understand the value. Like for everything that you just mentioned, think about it. You mentioned your managers, which are a tremendous source, Shirley and Cassie. You mentioned Luna, who is the marketing person for Arizona. So you obviously utilize that. You mentioned my coaching. Now, everything you're talking, the brand, the tools, the VAC, everything you're talking about, okay, for you is stuff that's included in being here, in your split, right? A lot of people, they think about, well, 100% company, but 100% of zero is zero, right? So you need this, you said it, it's a business. You started a business. Right. This is a business within a business, and you're using all the tools. So congratulations to you. That's not just a plug for you. It's a plug for the company. And it's because I firmly believe in what we're doing here. That's why I can talk about it energetically, enthusiastically. I think we're the best gig in town. If you're looking to run a predictable business, okay, and get results with an incredible brand, which is helpful, all right, I think we're the best gig in town. I think the fact that you come out of the gates like that, you're the perfect testament because of your openness, your ability to be, outside your comfort zone, which not everybody can do, Sandy. So congratulations to you.
It's hard. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but no, thank you for saying that. And, it's why I chose to be with Berkshire Hathaway. It was because of the training and the support that they give. So when you're talking, the initial, when you're a new agent, you're talking to all kinds of different agencies and hearing what they have to offer. Berkshire Hathaway really is quite unique in that aspect. because they do offer so much. It's a little bit overwhelming, but when you start to organize it, you realize, wow, there's something for me everywhere. And take everything you can possibly take. You have the time as a new agent to do that.
Mm-hmm. I jokingly refer to it as it's like the and I don't know if they're doing it again, but I don't know if you've ever been to the buffet at the Bellagio on like a
Oh
Sunday.
yeah. Oh my
Oh,
God.
ooh, it's like that. It's like you look at it and you say to myself, well, I want to try this. You can't eat the whole buffet, although I've seen people try. A little embarrassing, right? So we have so many tools and things that you can do. All you have to do is say to yourself, this is my personality. This is how I'm going to do it, and what matches up with me. And I think that is a healthy way to look at it. Well, Sandy, I just want to say,
you don't look like you go to the buffet at the Bellagio, by the way. But,
oh, I love the buffet. I don't think they can have them anymore. But when it was available, oh, I would go to the buffet. Now, like once again, I've learned to be what do you call it? In moderation. That wasn't always one of my good strong. But it's like real estate, right? As long as you're, think about it. 10 contacts a day, that's 50 a week. That's 100. That's 5,200 in a year. You're going to create this many leads. You got the VAC, you got the neighborhood reports, the market reports, you've got the newsletters. So if you fill that pipeline, like, okay, I'll give you an example. So like you started and you got into your sphere right away, and your average sale price is $1 million and you've had 7 closings. I coach a guy in Las Vegas. His average sale price is $340, $350. Okay, and then in the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's listed 6 or 7 old expired listings because he's been working on them now for a year. He has a complete pipeline, right? So my point in saying that, Sandy, is there's so many ways you can do this that you look at it, you say, okay, this is my personality. What am I actually going to do? And then you start doing it and keeping track, and then you get predictable results like you just did. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Any final words? Any final words you want to leave these wonderful people today?
No, other than, just hang in there, you guys. Like, it'll come. It's even if you feel like it's not working right at the moment and that you're never going to be successful at this, you will be. I promise you, because I had the same feelings. We all feel like that, and it'll come. Just keep at it. Keep to your goals. Just keep at what you do, and it'll happen.
That's awesome advice. Be consistent, follow through. And I tell people, even when it gets the most frustrating is when people give up, most people. But if you keep going through that frustration, that's the old breakdown to breakthrough. You're just about to break down. And if you keep going, you're about to make a breakthrough. That's incredibly advice, Sandy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Woo! All right, everybody. Thank you, Sandy. Really appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you soon. Everybody else will be back on Thursday for another episode of Facebook Live. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye, Sandy.